I'm a cat person. I was raised by cats. I've told a story about that before. I won't tell it here because it'll take too long.
I was raised by cats as well.
The incarnation of destruction.
Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. And essentially today we're going to be doing a quick little response video to a Mr. Scribe like. Because I think today we actually witnessed one of the greatest examples of universal truth number 6. Our minds tend towards the worst possible place. Why do I say this? Well, I believe it's just simply an adaptive function we've had as human beings over thousands of years. If all of a sudden something happens, something novel, something kind of gets out there, this is literally research to show that what we have known as the orienting reflex, basically that part, that kind of like fight or flight reflex in our brains, when there's a novel occurrence and everything, all of a sudden, like, we go through all these different thoughts, just like a lot of other animals within the animal kingdom. It's like, is this thing dangerous? Is it going to eat me? Can I eat it? Like, what's actually happening here and everything? And Scribe was kind of covering another TEDx talk and everything, like he normally does. And it just, at one point in the video, it just, something was said, and I believe his interpretation of it was incorrect. And I realize some of our people in the chat as well were kind of pointing it out. I'm pretty sure that Scribe likely didn't see that, just because if you're in a chat with a bunch of folks, I mean, my chats are nowhere as big as Scribe's, but it's like, a lot of times I miss things, because chat can go by kind of quickly. There was a point where he kind of asked for like audience feedback and stuff, so I kind of resubmitted my question. I don't believe he covered it. If he did, I apologize for this whole shindig, Scribe. But I do think, as President Obama would say, this is a teachable moment. And what I mean by that is, I just want to kind of take a look at the video, just kind of gauge Scribe's response and everything, and just kind of see what we can make of this and everything. So let's pop over to the...
You are the wise one.
So it is our duty to bring an end to their consciousness, right?
Right.
Wait, it's our duty to bring an end to their consciousness?
Continue, Scribe.
Wait, I'm gonna back up. I just want to make sure I heard that correctly. Let's hope we get a timer here. Okay, let's try that again.
So it is our duty to bring an end to their consciousness.
An end to their consciousness. Okay, so you're gonna knock them out? You're gonna hit them over the head with a club or something? What?
Now, to be fair to Scribe, I went back after he had stated that several times, and I started listening for that. And if I was listening for having an end, basically the finale of somebody's consciousness, okay, I could hear that. However, when I initially heard it, I'm like, okay, well, she's trying to bring it into somebody's consciousness, just kind of trying to highlight these aspects that folks may overlook. Where I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. I don't see folks necessarily being militant, or at least this particular individual. Are there militants out there? Absolutely there are. There are militants on many sides. Many folks just want to see the world burn. It's something that we learned from Batman. But my big thing is, if that is something that you kind of heard, and maybe it's just because we're kind of in our own echo chambers as well. Our minds tend towards the worst possible place, because if there are folks out there that happen to be Europhobic and everything, if you start listening for this, our minds start filling in gaps. And this was something that actually CSG, the common sense guy, had actually brought up with Crumple Point the other day. He was stating that basically he had had some discussions before where there were certain blanks where either he misheard something, he filled in the blank, and very often there'd be an argument or something about that. So that's one of those things where it's like, if that is something that I truly believe Scribe believed that he heard, whether it's his mind just filling in the blank, or maybe he just needs a better headset or something, if that is something that he heard, that's kind of poison the well on the rest of the conversation, don't you think? If all of a sudden you're like, oh, these folks just want to knock us the heck out or something. It's like, yeah, you're probably not going to respond kindly to that. I mean, who would? And this is why I say this is my number 6 universal truth, because if all of a sudden our minds are focusing on the negative and we truly believe that it is the negative, we're not going to usually respond well. And if we're not responding well to other people, very often they're not going to respond well to us. This is why a lot of times if I just kind of get into like a little verbal spat, if you would, perhaps a little twata war, if you would, with somebody on the internet, it's like we're going back and forth, and all of a sudden they're saying some not very nice things. I hear folks all the time. It's like, well, they simply just respond in kind. And this ultimately also comes down to like the whole profanity question as well. Perhaps somebody used a bit of profanity in a particular term, and all of a sudden, oh, we believe this person was saying in the most negative way possible. So they respond and escalate the profanity, and then it escalates, and then people are getting banned off platforms, and then, oh, the censorship, this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of times when there are these disagreements and stuff, if I actually go back and review it, a lot of times I think you can usually tell at what point it just completely went downhill. And we obviously know that Twitter is great for having just very thoughtful, philosophical discussions over extremely controversial topics, especially when you're only limited to 140 to 280 characters. I mean, what could go wrong? No, but ultimately, that's why I did want to just do this quick video, just as a response to Scribe, because I like Scribe and everything. Check out his channel here, along with gotta wait a few seconds because of the thingamajigger, and CSG's channel over here as well, because they're two individuals, and I listen to them, and my thing is, especially with Scribe, I feel all too often a lot of my comrades on the left will just be like, oh, you're a racist or something like that. It's like, oh okay, all right. I hear folks making these accusations on a fairly frequent basis and everything, and oh yeah, no, there is racism out there. There are bigots and everything. As Jon Stewart said,
but we live now in hard times, not end times. And we can have animus and not be enemies. But unfortunately, one of our main tools in delineating the two broke. The country's 24-hour Politico pundit perpetual panic conflictinator did not cause our problems, but its existence makes solving them that much harder. If we amplify everything, we hear nothing.
So that's why when I look at these situations, even if somebody does something that is racist, like they make a racist joke or something, does that make them a racist? I don't believe so. If anything, I believe kind of like Tim Pool says, how many grains of sand in a heap? If you keep on having these occurrences, and especially if folks are pointing it out in a consultative way, saying, hey, listen, my dudette, that's not really cool there. Do you kind of see, like, people aren't big fans of that? You're kind of alienating folks. You're not really being inclusive to different communities and stuff. If you're constantly pointing out people keep doing it, well, if it looks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, and it swims like a duck. Maybe it's a gander, but it's probably a duck. You kind of see what I'm saying with all this. And again, that's the thing. Nobody is necessarily immune to all this. I just feel like a lot of times we kind of got to look into the mirror. And I realize it's not always the most comfortable thing. Every once in a while I'll look in the mirror and be like, what the heck is going on? Who the hell is this crazy person here? Pardon my HE double hockey sticks there. But I think y'all kind of try to, you're getting kind of like the words that are coming out of my mouth here. It's that based upon what we often hear, depending on what community we're in, especially if it's being reaffirmed. It's like, oh, look at all these horrible people. Oh, look at all this. And everyone's saying, yes, yes, oh, they're horrible people. And yes, we're the good ones. We're the good ones and everything. And that's why a lot of times I operate from the perspective, oh, I just assume I'm wrong and work my way back up from there. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do and everything, just because I realize that not everyone's necessarily like myself. A lot of folks do have a deficit of confidence, and that's why a lot of folks on the left, they're trying to kind of bring people up and everything. What bothers me is when a lot of my comrades on the left, or on any side whatsoever, it seems like they're almost well-intentioned, but if you gotta tear down other folks in order to elevate other folks, that's one of those things. I thought a rising tide was supposed to lift all ships and everything. And yeah, there are always going to be those that are disadvantaged out there. But as I've also learned from MC, check out MC's channel there. See, MC, I give you shout outs once in a while too. That's the thing. It's like, if you need help, ask. I realize it's hard for a lot of folks to do, because I've witnessed it. I witnessed a single mom raising a couple of kids and everything on her own. Like, she's the perfect candidate. Like, she's who, like, housing assistance and stuff is designed for. She didn't want to take it. Why? Was it an issue of pride? Well, the thing is, she was working as a bartender not that far from her house, and she was making solid money. She was able to afford it on her own. She did take pride in that. Unfortunately, new ownership came in, she ended up losing her job, and she ended up losing the place that she had stayed for like 12 or 13 years. And that makes me sad. Are there folks that abuse the system? Oh, you bet there are. No, I'm pretty sure that I've lived with some of these folks at some point. It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, what happened? Well, so-and-so ended up, they had a parole violation. I'm like, oh, they seem to be getting all these different benefits and everything, and I'm pretty sure they were working at the time. I mean, maybe they're operating within the system. That's why I think clarity and transparency truly makes a difference here. And I could go on throughout like the rest of Scribe's video and just kind of try to nitpick every little point here or there, which, I mean, there are different things. Like, let's kind of take a look at like the whole nude thing real quick.
This is not nude for everyone. Nude is a color. It is not an adjective. When nude is referred to in the context of color palette, it is a specific color.
See, I thought nude was a state of lack of clothing. I mean, that was my understanding too as well, which, I mean, let's face it, my man. If you translate it out, they're referring to that as nude from generally the major demographic that we have here within these United States, which is kind of like a pinkish something hue or something. That's why I'm just like, no, it's like, that's why when folks actually say white and everything, it's like, oh, well, it's, I don't know, I get some sun once, oh god, I look pale. Ugh, I need to get out there and get some sun this summer and everything. Bring out that ruddiness and the old Ashkenazi beard and everything. But that's one of the things that we kind of see going on there. I mean, this particular young woman, she's simply highlighting the fact that that is something that is very common to a lot of folks, but for other folks that live in America here, like, that's not generally what their base is and everything. It's like there is more melanin there for a lot of folks. And here's the thing, simply highlighting these issues and everything, if all of a sudden we're going to respond and say like, oh, this person's doing this or that, or they're doing it for these, are we being charitable, or are we making assumptions? Are we not making assumptions that I hear a lot of folks on the more libertarian and conservative side of YouTube are making about other folks, or that other folks that they would say are making about them? And that's the thing. It just kind of seems to like feed into the same cycle again. It's like, this person is scorning me, so we must scorn them, let us scorn them. And then we just spiral into nonstop hatred. That's why I wanted to use this as a teachable moment, just because, okay, if you misheard something, I'm not going to go around and say, like, Scribe is a horrible racist or something. No, I don't believe so. It's just, of a lot of folks I listen to, he sounds like he has some concerns and everything. He's giving his opinion from somebody else giving their opinion. I think that's fine. It's just, if we do make mistakes, I just think we simply need to clarify, that's all. And that was one of the things where, because unfortunately, if that was what Scribe heard, which I believe that is what he had heard, that kind of poisoned a lot of the rest of the video for him. And all of a sudden, he's going to be in a more apprehensive state of mind while viewing that, where if it's just simply, oh, this was put into this person's consciousness, just kind of drawing attention to it, that's a lot less negative than attempting to KO somebody via Super Punch-Out. So, that's all I wanted to highlight right there, but thank you everybody for watching. Peace out, and be safe, everybody.